Right now, deep inside your brain, your locus coeruleus is misfiring, and the neuroscientists who mapped every neuron of it admit they cannot switch it off. It has been doing this since the last time you were stressed. You cannot feel it, you cannot detect it, and every hour it keeps firing, it is quietly dismantling the one thing you cannot afford to lose. That tiny cluster of neurons, your brain's alarm center, was built to save your life. Brief threat. Flood the body with norepinephrine. Sharp focus, fast decision, survive, then stop. That's how it was designed. But in modern brains, it doesn't stop. It keeps releasing. Low-level, chronic, invisible. And here's what that costs you. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that holds your attention, filters distraction, makes you sound like yourself, goes offline, not all at once. Gradually. Day by day, hour by hour, the signal degrades. You think you're functioning, you're not. You're operating on a brain being systematically flooded with its own alarm chemical, and the damage is accumulating right now while you're watching this. We'll get to how to stop it. But first you need to understand why it cannot stop itself. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull. The alarm center sits at the base of your brainstem, a cluster so small it contains fewer than 50,000 neurons. That's nothing. A rounding error in a brain of 86 billion. But those 50,000 neurons project upward into almost every region of your cortex. One misfire reaches everywhere at once. Think of it like a fire alarm wired into every room of a building. One false trigger, every room floods with the response. Now imagine that alarm has a broken reset switch. The cortisol that should tell it to stand down, it stops responding. The feedback loop that should quiet it goes silent. So the alarm keeps ringing. And your brain, built to treat that alarm as an existential emergency, keeps treating it that way. Your attention narrows. Your working memory compresses. You become faster at detecting threats and slower at almost everything else. You are running on emergency power. And emergency power was never meant to be the default. Which brings us to what the researchers who discovered this keep coming back to. The neuroscientists who first mapped the locus coeruleus in the 1960s assumed they'd find a way to regulate it pharmacologically. They haven't. Every attempt to blunt it chemically blunts the entire norepinephrine system, and that system controls your heartbeat, your breathing, your ability to focus at all. You cannot selectively silence the misfire without silencing the thing keeping you alive. The suppressants that target it broadly flatten cognitive function. The more precise compounds that seemed promising in trials created dependency patterns that made the misfiring worse on withdrawal. 50 years of research. The honest answer from the field: we cannot turn it off from the outside. What they don't publish is what a small group of high performers figured out on their own, and we're almost there. But before that, there is something about the most popular solution that you need to know. You've probably been told that meditation fixes this. That 10 minutes of mindfulness will calm the alarm center down. For some people, it does. But here's the part nobody publishes. For a subset of individuals with a chronically misfiring alarm center, directed mindfulness meditation actually increases activation. The internal attention required, focusing on the present, monitoring your own thoughts, trips the very surveillance system you're trying to quiet. The research is clear and quietly controversial. Sitting still with your thoughts for certain brain states is not rest. It is another form of threat monitoring. And here is the second thing working against you right now. The fatigue from a misfiring alarm center makes you crave stillness, which, in this state, may be the worst thing you can choose. There is another mechanism entirely, and high performers found it before the neuroscientists did. Here's what they actually do. The alarm center has one reliable off switch that requires neither pharmacology nor stillness. It requires rhythmic, non-evaluative physical movement paired with controlled exhalation. Not deep breathing, not breathwork in the way it's being sold to you. Extended exhalation, specifically making your out-breath twice as long as you're in breath, directly activates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the one system that can communicate with the alarm center from the body's side. It doesn't fight the chemical flood. It changes the context the flood is happening in. Your alarm center interprets physical threat signals. Rhythmic motion, walking at a steady pace, combined with extended exhalation sends the opposite signal. The body is moving but not fleeing. The breath is long, not shallow. That combination is biologically read as threat resolved. Stillness keeps the feedback loop open. Rhythm closes it. This is why elite performers, surgeons, special forces operators, athletes before flow states default to deliberate walking before high-stakes moments. Not meditation, not stillness. Rhythmic motion with controlled breath. The alarm center reads body state, not intention. Tonight, before you sleep, walk, not a workout, 12 minutes slow and steady. Extend every exhale until it is twice the length of your inhale. Don't count, don't monitor, just walk and breathe long. Within 6 to 8 minutes, your alarm center begins to downregulate. Your working memory partially restores. You'll sleep differently, not because you relaxed, but because you sent the correct biological signal. Do this for 3 nights and notice what your mornings become. But the locus coeruleus is not working alone. There is another region, older, quieter, sitting directly beneath it, that has been shaping your behavior since childhood without your awareness. Neuroscientists recently discovered it misfires in the opposite direction, and the damage it does is slower, deeper, and far harder to name.